Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Dragon Ball Nation. Now today I'm going to be giving you guys an extra long Q&A. I have no idea how long it's going to be, but I just got off of work not that long ago. Got out at, earlier, so I'm planning on doing a longer Q&A because I have nothing better to do with my time. The computer, you may hear my computer a little bit. I have the volume for my Yeti down all the way, the gain, so hopefully it really doesn't pick up. Maybe when I edit music and you guys won't even notice it. I know in the last Q&A I did with Quaman that it was pretty bad, but there was nothing that could be done about it. But other than that, I spent a while loading more questions to get to the very bottom of my queue, my questions here, my over 2,000 questions, because I know a lot of you guys haven't gotten those answered, and I really do apologize. And since I'm here, I really want to thank you guys for this enormous support that I've been getting on my channel. I'm getting at least 100 subs, maybe 150 to 200 subs a day right now. It's insanity. I'm sure some of you guys have noticed my growth. It's absolutely insane, and I really wouldn't be here without you guys and you new viewers and you guys who have stuck around. It's insane. I want to do these multiple thank you videos, but I'd be doing them every week because I'm getting all these milestones. But it's crazy. Over 9,000 subs is coming sometime at the end of the month, I assume, and I have a little something special planned for you guys for that. But other than that, we should probably get right into this Q&A because it's going to be a longer one. Well, I'm thinking it's going to be longer. Anyways, not to waste any more time, do you think prior to Vegeta and Nappa coming to Earth, Vegeta mated with other life forms? No. Probably not. I mean, just seems like, condoms aren't something that are used in Dragon Ball, so maybe Vegeta had another kid somewhere, but, I doubt that he did, to be quite honest. Seems weird, because then he'd be like a virgin over 30 years old to be close to, he'd be around a 30-year-old virgin, I guess, so, Vegeta was waiting for that right woman, so, yeah. Do you think when Bulma ages, say about 70 to 80, Vegeta will leave her, or do you think he wouldn't care? I don't think he's going to care at that point. Vegeta, I mean, who else is he going to go? Well, to be completely honest, by time Vegeta's around that age, that's when Saiyans start to accelerate to a level, I believe. So, Vegeta's going to start accelerating his aging at that point. I believe that's what happens. I'm not 100%, so don't quote me on that, but off the top of my head, I do believe when they get to around 70 to 80, they do start to age pretty rapidly. Even though their bodies do retain their youth into their 50s, I do believe, it may have been some non-canon stuff, but it's safe to say that their bodies would definitely age at some point, so I don't think he'd care, considering he'd be around that age as well. In Fusion Reborn, we see Hitler come back from hell. Who do you think killed him originally, or do you think the Dragon Ball mimicked real life and he died the same way he died in the real world? Well, that's a very good question, and that's one I can't really answer because I would imagine if he's in Dragon Ball's universe, it's weird because World War II never should have happened unless Dragon Ball takes place so far into the future that everything kind of changed so rapidly. I don't really know. I could assume he just killed himself like he did in the real world. It's very unclear. But that's a very interesting question there, my friend. Part 2 of my Fusion Reborn questions. We see a scene where a woman rises from the grave. Do you think her soul never went to the afterlife because she never believed in one? That's a very interesting question. I can't possibly answer. I think it's just the way they wrote the story, to be honest. But that's an interesting question, definitely. Do you think Bio Broly is hated on a bit much? I like it, and it's actually my favorite Z movie after Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan. Well, I definitely think that Bio Broly was not that good of a film, but I don't think it was really that bad. But I think it does get hated when people say it was terrible. I definitely think it was enjoyable to an extent, but I do think it gets a little bit of hate, and it's just how the way it is. I definitely don't think it's a great film, but it's enjoyable to an extent. I've seen it a couple times. It is my least favorite Dragon Ball film, I would say. Favorite Looney Tune? Well, that's a tough one. I guess I can't. I can't really answer this off the top of my head. I mean, maybe Wile E. Coyote? I don't know, man. Bugs Bunny's a classic, so. Who will win a fight? A Pokemon or a human? Well, you gotta be specific of what Pokemon, man. You put a Tyranitar up against me, I'm gonna be shitting my britches, so. Ever played Sonic Boom? No, and I do not care to, from what I've seen and heard. What did you name your fighter in Xenoverse, and what's their race? Well, I play mainly my main run is a Saiyan, and it's just called DBN Josh, same as my Twitter page. And for my playthrough, I have an Frieza's race, and I just named him Josh. I didn't go crazy. I did it for my playthrough. I just made a Frieza's race. But yeah. What if Pan had a daughter and someone was Vegeta's, or someone from Vegeta's like Bulma had a son, or the other way around, and they had a baby? Would he/she have more sane potential and raw potential than even Gohan, since he comes from both of those families? I mean, oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys can hear my dogs barking down there. I didn't know if you guys could hear that. You probably actually can't, since I have this gain all the way down. But to go to this question, I mean, I guess you mean, I don't exactly know what you're trying to ask, because Pan must have had a child in GT to be a grandmother, so I really just do not understand this question. I mean, Goku Jr. wasn't very strong, so I guess not. I don't think I understand this question, but if that's what you're asking, I mean, Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. were not very powerful at all. Even though they were their grandchildren, I doubt their kids were, their sons or daughters, whatever, were that strong. I mean, it's possible Bola could have had a son, but I guess it would be implied that it would be her, well, geez, was Pan Goku Jr.'s great-grandma or grandmother? See, I don't even remember, but that's such an unimportant part of the series that I can't even remember. I think she may have been the great-grandmother, but I don't think they would have that much potential because of how diluted the DNA would be, I suppose. Would Lord Bills eventually kill Cell, Boo, or any other threat if they succeeded in defeating the Z Fighters and went on to destroy the rest of the universe? I mean, Boo was kind of, it's a little funny that Beerus never made mention of Boo. It could be because he didn't recognize Fat Boo, because he could have, I would find it very strange that Beerus would never have encountered Kid Boo. Fat Boo I can understand because he was sealed away, but Kid Boo was awakened every, however many years to go destroy, and it'd be really weird for Beerus not to have known about him or seen him. Cell, I mean, it's a very hard question to answer because we don't know a lot about Beerus's personality even still. I think if they were, I mean, considering he was gonna kill Frieza, hypothetically he said he would kill Frieza, I would assume he would want to kill them as well. That's just my opinion. If Whis is stronger than Beerus, how much stronger do you think he is? Well, Toriyama did say if you put them on a scale, Beerus is a 10, Super Saiyan God Goku's a 6, and Whis is a 15. So Whis is about 50% stronger than Beerus according to that statement. So I'm just going to stick with that because that's all we know. If Cell defeated the Z Fighters and lived until the revival of Boo, would he have gotten stronger in the time gap to be a better match to Boo, or would Boo be way stronger? Basically, would Cell get stomped in time without competition, or would the universe be so weak that no one would be able to stop him? Well, I actually think if Cell had trained, even if, hypothetically guys, even though Cell's potential I think would be much higher than a regular Saiyan's, if Cell hypothetically trained about as much as Vegeta, let's say, I definitely think Cell would be able to beat Boo, even if his potential was around the same as Vegeta's, in terms of power gained. Because one thing I've discussed with Kwame that I've analyzed based off of statements from the series is that Fat Boo and Super Perfect Cell are actually closer than some of you may think. Now, I'm not saying they're close at all, because they really aren't, but they're probably closer than you guys think, Fat Boo and Super Perfect Cell. And the reason I base this on is because the statement when Vegeta and Goku are about to fight, Vegeta mentions when Goku powers up to a Super Saiyan 2, he says, well, at least you're stronger than your son was against Cell. That tells me that Goku, before turning Super Saiyan 2, was not stronger than Cell in any of his, even his Super Saiyan form. And if Goku's Super Saiyan form was not as strong as, Teen Gohan, let's say, Super Saiyan 2, that would mean that based off of multipliers, Boo would have to be, because Super Saiyan 3 is a 4 times multiplier Super Saiyan 2. It seemed that Super Saiyan 2 Goku was at least enough to make mention that he was stronger than Goku. He had to have been a decent amount stronger than Gohan for Vegito to have mentioned that. So, I can't estimate exactly how much stronger he'd be, but I would estimate Boo to be about 4 to 5 times stronger than Super Perfect Cell. Yes, guys, that's a ton, but I think that's a lot less than any of us, well, not any of us, I can't say that for everyone, but I think a lot of people would have estimated Boo to be. He's not, I don't think he's, dozens of times stronger than Cell. He's only like, 4 to 5 times stronger based on that information, in my opinion at least. So, that tells me that Cell, people really do underestimate the strength of Cell, but at the same time, I think people overestimate Fat Boo. But it's not to say that Fat Boo couldn't have demolished Cell. He absolutely could have. But if Cell were to train those 7 years, he definitely would have eradicated Fat Boo, I think. But I kind of, gave my thoughts on that. Hopefully you guys, got a little discussion, because I kind of wanted to incorporate that in a video, what I just said there, but I don't want to do it in a way that's going to be kind of tacked on. That wouldn't be very good content for you guys, and I can't figure out a way to put that in a video. Maybe I could, to reach a wider audience for my subscriber base. I know a lot of my subs don't watch these Q&As, but a good amount of you guys do, and I'm very, very thankful for that. But moving on to the next question, I definitely think Cell would beat Fat Boo if he trained those 7 years. What if Cooler was canon, and it was the Cooler Saga a little before the androids, and its 5th form was a little stronger than SSJ, but Vegeta unlocked SSJ and they double teamed to defeat Cooler? Would he take Frieza's place in the new movies? Instead of Frieza being mentioned by Beerus, it would be him. It's such an ambiguous question that I can't possibly answer. It's there's nothing to really base this off of. It's kind of just speculation and what I think. I think that Frieza would definitely still be revived based on the fact that he's being revived from his henchmen. Coolers didn't seem to have a large army like Frieza did, so there wouldn't be as much of a want to bring him back, if that answers your question. How old is Vegeta? You gotta be specific on when you're talking about. I don't actually remember specifics. He's a bit older than Goku. I think in the Buu Saga, I want to say he's around mid 40s. I want to say that maybe early 40s, but Buu Saga, that's like, during the fight with Kid Buu, he was around there. At the end of the series, at the 10 years, he's around 50-ish, if I remember correctly at least. I could be wrong. How old is Zarbon? I can't possibly answer that. How old is Frieza? Probably pretty goddamn old if he was, fully matured by the time the Saiyans were around. But then again, if he's an offspring of King Cold directly, then maybe he didn't have to mature at all, when he was, I guess, quote-unquote, born. Were you ever disappointed at the lack of interaction between Gohan and future Trunks? It would have been cool to see them hang out more or train together. Trunks could have also told Gohan how much of a hero and mentor in future Trunks' future counterpart was. It would have made a cool moment. Thoughts? Well, if you watch Team 4-Star, they do touch upon a lot of that stuff. But yeah, it kind of was a missed moment, but it's not really any surprise for this series. They miss a lot of golden moments that they could have, capitalized on, but, I love the show regardless, so. If Chi-Chi, Master Roshi, and Yajirobe all trained along the Z fighters preparing for the Saiyan invasion, and maybe Bulma builds some super high-tech fighting droids, do you think that it could change the outcome in terms of lives lost during the Saiyan invasion? From Trey Dog Films. Well, I mean, I doubt Chi-Chi and Master Roshi and Yajirobe really have enough potential to make a huge fight or a huge difference in the invasion. I don't think Bulma had the resources to make droids that would, you know, change the outcome. So I don't think any of this would have made a difference, really. The only difference it would have made is that Chi-Chi, Master Roshi, and Yajirobe would have been at a much higher risk of death. So that could have changed a lot in the series, I guess. But not for the better. If you was to win the lotto, would it change you? And 2, what would be the first thing you'd buy? I'd buy a really expensive car, and it would definitely change me as a person. I'd be spending a lot more money, but I would definitely be doing YouTube still. I mean, I do treat this as a job now, and YouTube is something that I absolutely love to do. You know, guys, I really do enjoy making this content for you guys. It's such a good, it's a job, but at the same time, it's an amazing hobby to get to interact with, you know, getting close to 8,000 people, and it's just absolutely insane. But I definitely would have a lot of money to spend, and I guess I'd do a lot of giveaways for you guys. You know, right now I'm not financially obligated to do a bunch of giveaways, and you know, I'm trying to think of some things for the future for you guys, because I want to give back to you guys in some ways. But you know, as of now, I don't have any giveaways planned, but I really do want to do this in the future to give back to you guys. If Nappa and Raditz was to fuse with the Pitar earrings, what would be their power level? I think that's very, very difficult to answer. I cannot possibly give you a specific power level, but as to who they'd be able to defeat, and let's just, you know, exclude any possibility of Super Saiyan, because I doubt they could do that. Had to take a drink of my soda there. Let's see. The people that I could imagine them beating, now people might call me crazy for this, I could definitely see them beating Captain Ginyu. You know, unless he did the body switch, which would be very interesting. But I could definitely see him being stronger than Goku when he landed on Namek. I just can't see them beating First Form Frieza, but I can definitely see them defeating Ginyu. I mean, it wouldn't be an easy fight with Ginyu either. It would be very difficult, and I'm just guessing. I'm ballparking here, guys. If they can't beat Ginyu, they could definitely 100% guarantee that they could beat the rest of the Ginyu force. But Ginyu would be a tough fight. Definitely would be a tough fight. But it's still completely unclear. There is no. I know that people have formulas out there, but there's still no official word, and I mean official, about how strong Potara and the fusion dances are. So it's very, very hard to decide, but I think they could be around Captain Ginyu. There's a red box. You pass the box, but then you see a bird. You go to see the bird, see if the bird's okay, but it tells you but it tells you to fuck off. Then starts to smoke a huge cigar and calls over a big blue rat called Frank. Frank then takes out a pen, eats it, and then gets a life and becomes a super hyper Frank. What do you do? I probably jump off the nearest cliff I could find and end it all right there, because that is not the kind of world I want to live in. You know, I don't want to live in a world ruled by super hyper Frank and a red box, as well as a bird that tells me to fuck off. I mean, come on. That doesn't sound like the kind of world I want to live in. Hello, Dragon Ball Nation. Are you getting Xenoverse for PC? If so, what is your Steam username so we can play? If you want to add me on Steam, I almost never use it. I think it's just Punker Clock. PUNKERCLOCK. You can add me on there. I might not respond to you because I almost never use Steam. I do plan on getting Xenoverse for the PC though, but probably not until my playthrough's over with. If you want to add me on Xbox Live, my username's the exact same as my Steam name, Punker Clock. So you can add me on there. I have played Xenoverse with subs before. I don't mind. I'm thinking about doing some subscriber battles. You know, I had a sub or two request that, so I might do that for videos. But Xenoverse on Steam is something that I do plan on getting, just not at the moment right now. But I can definitely run it. I can assure you of that. This PC is has a decent amount of power. So, did you know that God of Destruction makes God if you take the first letter of each word from David? Well, I guess it does. That's very interesting, David. Goten 10 years old versus Trunks 10 years old. I guess they mean both the current timeline of Trunks. And this is also from David. You know, Trunks or Goten should be much stronger than Trunks, I would think, due to his immense potential. But it's been shown throughout that Trunks has always had an upper hand on Goten, and it never made sense to me at a universe perspective why he'd be stronger still. So I gotta give it to Trunks, but Goten I think should definitely be stronger, but it's just not how it's shown. What if Broly somehow joined the Z Fighters as a good guy? Well, it depends what point of the series. If you're talking about the point in the Cell arc, he would be a very large asset to the team. I mean, it's a very ambiguous question, and obviously it's very out there in terms of what ifs, but yeah. I don't see how Broly would become a good guy, but he would be a very big help, especially if he trained. If Cooler was canon, do you think he eventually would have killed Frieza himself if it wasn't for Goku and Trunks? And speaking of Trunks, why doesn't he get credit for killing Frieza? Everyone gives it to Goku, sometimes even Frieza himself. That kind of bugs me. I mean, for the second part, I can't really answer that. It's kind of the fan base. And for the first part, I don't remember specific dialogue from the original Cooler film. I want to say there was something in there that Cooler was glad Frieza was dead, but I don't think he would have killed his own brother. If power levels are meaningless, could Goku have beaten Frieza if his power level was still the same when he arrived on Namek? No. I think when people use power levels are bullshit, they use that term very loosely. Power levels are not bullshit completely. They're bullshit at a certain point in the series because they're non-existent. That's what they mean. But when you're discussing power levels in the Namek sagas and Saiyan sagas, they do have weight to them. People that are way weaker than other characters don't just win. Unless you're talking about Gohan, who had a jump in power level. His power level was higher than Rat's. But if you're around the same power level, that's when it's up to technique to really win the battle. That's the way I looked at it. I don't think power levels are complete BS, but trying to calculate them can be pretty BS if that's what you want to know. Rats versus Cybermen. Well, I definitely think that due to technique, Rats would win unless the Cybermen explodes. Was Mr. Popo alive in the history of Trunks timeline and the original timeline? Well, the original timeline, I mean, which original, well, I'll just not answer that part because that's very broad. Original timeline can mean different things for different people. I mean, the original timeline would be the history of Trunks timeline, so that would have been the first. If I remember correctly, that's the first one. There's 4 timelines, so, you know, according to Quaman's alternate timeline theory. And, I mean, I've always thought, because I've seen people, like, you know, do what ifs, and, you know, I'm not taking a shot at them, but Goku T23 did do a video on what if, I think it was what if Gohan went into the time chamber in the history of Trunks timeline. I think it was something like that. And I've always assumed, based off of, you know, the fact that no one used it, you know, no one told anyone to go in the time chamber, nothing like that. I've always assumed that the lookout was destroyed from the androids because they were destroying all these expensive looking buildings and all this stuff. And I think that they more than likely destroyed the lookout. That's my best answer for it. So I doubt Popo was alive. Could Goku last a minute against Mystic Gohan full power? If it's a fight to the death and it's Super Saiyan 3 Goku versus Mystic Gohan, he's gonna annihilate Goku. If they're fighting to the death, I don't think he can even last a minute. And guys, I'm not talking about a general Dragon Ball fight here. I mean, if they are trying to kill each other, I think Gohan would absolutely demolish him in less than a minute. But yeah, moving on. Mr. Popo versus Demon King Piccolo. That's always an inconsistent thing. I can't see. I would give it to Popo just based off of what. I mean, he's been listed as around a 1,000 or something like that as power level, which isn't exactly official because it's in magazines, and I believe it's just like the jumps. It may have been the Daizenshuu that listed him as that, but even the Daizenshuu I don't always like to look at because it is known as an official source for Dragon Ball, but the Daizenshuu itself doesn't even make sense all the time. But I would just say Popo to be safe based on his performance against Goku. You know, he swallowed Goku's Kamehameha wave, and Goku couldn't. He was way faster than Goku, so I would definitely say Popo. I'm just gonna check my time here, guys, because you know, I've just been recording this for 26 minutes already. Goku SSJG, so I guess SSJ God versus Gogeta Super Saiyan 2 or Super Saiyan 3. I'd give that one to Goku because I just don't think that Gogeta is really as strong as Vegito. Now, Vegetto would be a different fight, but I mean, Gogeta Super Saiyan 3 could give him a run for his money, but I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I think Vegetto might be underestimated. I definitely would say Vegetto is stronger than Gogeta, but that whole comment about Goku, you know, that whole thing about Battle Gods where Goku mentioned he didn't think fusion would work. That's always something that's bugged me, and if you've been around this channel long enough, you know that I think that. I know barely anyone agrees with it, but I really think that Goku himself just wasn't thinking straight at the time, and there's no way he could have been talking about Vegetto when he meant fusion wouldn't win, because if I remember, there are no Pitar earrings left, guys, because the ones Elder Kai gave to Goku and Vegeta crushed one, and I believe Goku crushed, or no, Vegeta threw one, and then Goku crushed the other one after that, and then the ones that Kibito Kai, you know, the fused Supreme Kai and Kibito, the ones that they gave Goku and Vegeta, they both crushed because they didn't need them against Kid Buu. I don't think there's any more Pitar earrings, especially considering the fact that there's no more Kais, really, so, well, you know, the higher-up Supreme Kais and such like that. So they definitely had to have been talking about Gogeta, even though he has not actually existed in the canon of Dragon Ball. And it's not exactly clear if he would have been taking consideration into Super Saiyan 2 or 3, because Goku had literally just woken up from that, you know, being knocked out essentially, and immediately mentions that he doesn't think fusion will work. That just tells me he didn't think it through. Maybe I'm looking into it too deep, but I just don't think he was thinking it through that much. I think Super Saiyan 3 Vegetto, I've said this before, and I know every time I say this in a video, I get flooded with comments. I am pretty confident Super Saiyan 3 Vegetto would be able to beat Beerus. And that's my final thoughts on that, and I've always stuck by that, and if you guys really can give me any information to disprove that fact, well, you know, my opinion on that, I am totally open to opinions, but you gotta come up with something better than you know, Goku's comment about the fusion, because that's something that I really have analyzed that comment and dissected what he says, and I just cannot see him talk. I just can't see how he was talking about Vegetto and even a Super Saiyan 3 Vegetto. So yeah, that's just my opinion, guys. Feel free to debate that with me. I am totally open to that. Shenron versus Kid Goku 22nd World Tournament. You mean just Shenron? Now, the 23rd tournament was the one at the end of Dragon Ball, if I remember correctly. So the 22nd, I mean, I can't answer this because honestly, my Dragon Ball knowledge is a little bit rough off the top of my head. I would just say that Shenron's not a fighter, and King Piccolo did kill Shenron very easily, and he didn't really power up and attack very much. He just did that mouth blast, which, you know, could be looked at as maybe a weaker attack, but I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. King Vegeta versus Baby Broly times 10. Baby Broly easily. Baby Broly times 10 would be 100,000, so that's not even a fight. What is Puar's gender? Go check out Quaman's video on it. I don't really care about Puar, but if you guys want to look at that video, I'll remember to link that in the description below. Is Piccolo the strongest alien, not humanoid? Humanoid. He is humanoid looking, so I guess he is a humanoid. But strongest alien, I mean, I don't know what you mean. Frieza is stronger, so, you know, that's kind of out there. I think this was actually, well, I can't actually say this wasn't before Frieza's new form was revealed or all that stuff, but, yeah. Why is Roshi so fat? He's not. Could Krillin kill Vegeta? Well, he could have on Namek. So, yeah, you know, when he put him to near death, if Denda didn't revive him, he would have died. Zarbon versus 0.01% Frieza. Are we talking final form Frieza? Then that would be about, I'm trying to think of the number here. That would be roughly, that would be like a 12,000, I think. So Zarbon would take a shit on that Frieza. If that's a 12,000. I almost thought 120,000, but that would be a 0.1%. It's been a while since I graduated, you know, high school and did math class, so, you know, simple math ain't so good anymore. What if Ginyu force killed Krillin, Gohan, and Vegeta? How would this affect the fight with Frieza, and would Goku turn Super Saiyan against the Ginyu Force or Frieza? I mean, I don't think he might have been able to turn Super Saiyan against Ginyu, but he wouldn't have needed it. But I'm gonna do a video in the future, and it may be a collaboration, I'm not sure yet, I'm trying to work out the kinks. But I'm going to be doing a video on how strong you actually need to be Super Saiyan, guys. Because it definitely is not clear. But if Goku went Super Saiyan against Ginyu, hypothetically, I guess, he wouldn't be a chance for Frieza still, because he'd be too weak. So, you know. Thoughts on Superman from Nitro? Well, Superman's alright. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan, but I don't know. We all love Dragon Ball and Z. So in saying that, do you ever stop to think why, what made you fall in love with it, and what made you keep loving it well into adulthood? If so, what are your reasons? I want a good answer. Thanks. Honestly, guys, I can do a video on that because there's so much to say. I can just say stay tuned for a video on that. I don't know when. I have a ton of videos planned for the future. So yeah. Do you know Sun Wukong? It's the China version of Goku. I do know, and I mean, yeah. And Sun Wukong, well, I mean, you can't, it's not exactly this Chinese version of Goku per se. It's based on the story Journey to the West and, you know, all that stuff. So, you know, for those of you who are familiar with that, you know what I'm talking about. Why does toast taste better when it's cut? It tastes better when it's buttered, man, not cut. What if Frieza aged like a human? Well, he'd probably would be very, very old at this point, considering how you know, he's got to be older than all the Saiyans. So, you know, who is Vidal's mom? Hercule's ex. Cows go moo, sure, but why? Ask Krillin. How can Goku and Vegeta Jr. go SSJ when their Saiyan heritage is below 1/3? It's an inconsistency, man. Everything is. Well, it is a question, but I can't answer it. What would Cell look like if he absorbed a bear the same way he did the androids? Well, the thing about Cell's absorption is it's different between the two androids and everything else, because the androids and him were specifically designed together for Cell to absorb them and go through his different forms, absorbing other things would not affect him the same way. The way he absorbs humans as well as Piccolo's arm was through drainage of their, body. And the absorption is a consumption, really. He really does absorb. He gets that tail around them. That kind of sounded dirty, but it looked filthy, of course. You guys saw that episode. That inside of that tail is dirty looking. Anyways, it's a different kind of absorption, so I don't think he would change, really. Bada Duk versus Majin Buu. I don't know any of these questions here. Bada Duk, I must be blanking. This is the same question as earlier. When we see Cooler the first time, he's already in his 4th form. Do you think he was the one to kill Pycon at some point, and he had to transform to defeat him? As this would explain how Pycon died and why Cooler isn't in his 1st form anymore from Beowulf. No, I definitely don't think he killed him, and it wouldn't really explain why he's not in his 1st form, because Frieza, I assume Cooler's the same way. Cooler's been in his 5th form, as implied by him. Frieza's race, they can go to different forms if they want to. Frieza made his 1st, 2nd, and 3rd form as limiters on his body to reduce his power and to, I guess, reduce his, psycho, nature, really. It reduces his it increases his mental stability when he's in those lower forms. So I definitely think that Cooler would be able to do the same based on their physiology being very similar. But, yeah. What if Dragon Ball Z was a sitcom? Well, it'd be the best damn sitcom there is. What if Captain Ginyu had took over Frieza's body? How would this affect the series? There's no way to really answer this. I mean, if Goku went Super Saiyan against Ginyu in Frieza's body, he would trash him. And you gotta be specific of what form of Frieza. Because if it was, honestly, guys, if it was 1st form Frieza, I think that Vegeta with his Zenkai boost would definitely be enough to take that. But you gotta be very specific. It's too ambiguous of a question to answer. Oh brother, where art thou? Well, I do remember Shakespeare vaguely, but I think that's a movie actually you're talking about here. But either way, next question. Old Greg versus Charlie Bubblegum. Well, I like Bubblegum a lot, so I'm gonna go with Charlie Bubblegum from Beowulf. How do you think the world will end? Well, I can't really worry about that too much because I'll be long dead by that point. But probably some super volcano or a meteor hits. I don't know. Have you ever seen Red Dwarf? I'm not familiar with that at all. And I have to take another drink of this soda because I am thirsty as hell. It's very, very hot around my house. That's why my computer's been loud. It's very hot. I'll give you guys... I mean, I live on the East Coast, so, it does get hot at certain points of the year. Obviously in the summer. And it's very erratic this year. The other day it was about 60 degrees. The day before that was 55. And right now it's 87. And tomorrow it's projected to be about 94 degrees. So it's not even consistent, the heat or the temperature. But anyways, moving on. Do you think Android 18 has a clown who's a emo goth chick with purple hair? No? Oh, he meant clone, not clown. Well, I'd still say no. Do you think Frieza and Cell spoon in hell? No, but I'm sure there's plenty of fan fiction out there for you if that's what you're interested in. Who do you like? Would you like a Dragon Ball Z game where you can make your own saga? Yeah, but that'd be impossible to happen, but I would love that. Like maybe they gave us choices to pick from. If Xenoverse 2 can incorporate some decision making in the campaign, along with the RPG elements, that would be some next level shit right there. Star Wars or Star Trek? Easily Star Wars. It's not even close, guys. Easily Star Wars. If you count GT as a alternate universe to Battle Gods, do you think GT could still continue beyond episode 64? I guess he means the end of Dragon Ball GT. I mean, it did. It went into the 100-year time gap, so I mean, yeah. Didn't even delete the question. Okay. Could a future Trunks spin-off ever happen? Yeah, it can, but I don't think it will. Do you think Shin Budokai 2, which is otherwise known as Shin Budokai Another Road, has a good story? No, I didn't think the story was actually that good. It was interesting, the concept, but honestly, the execution was pretty piss poor, to be quite honest with you. And in all honesty, guys, I really, really, really love Xenoverse's story, but the execution and the actual final product did leave some stuff to be desired. But that's not to say it's bad. I love the story in Xenoverse. I just think there could have been tweaks. Hopefully with Xenoverse 2, they can fix it up. But they did have a lot on their plate for this first game, and I'm very impressed with what they came up with. There were very good story elements, but there were some missed opportunities. But obviously they have to save some stuff for the sequel. But I did love Xenoverse's story. Shin Budokai's was cool, but it was terribly written and, developed, I suppose. If there was a new Dragon Ball series, when the hell's that? When the hell would that ever happen, man? Keep dreaming. We're never gonna get a new series. Do you think there could be a Saga where it crosses over with GT? It's possible, but not likely. King Cold Saga. See, they're already better than the Garlic Jr. Saga. Yeah, that would have been better. I did not enjoy the Garlic Jr. Saga at all, to be honest. I was bored when I was rewatching that a month or two ago on Blu-ray. I was bored. That's the worst part of the whole series, to be honest with you. GT included. That was even worse than the hunt for the Dragon Balls in GT, to be quite honest with you guys. That's just my opinion. I hated the Garlic Jr. Saga. What would you like to see happen if there was a new Dragon Ball series? Like I said, we're never getting a Dragon Ball series, but I did do if there ever was a series, I would have already done a video on this. So if I did that, check the link in the description. But there's never going to be a new series, so I don't know what you're asking for. I mean, come on. Do you think horror movie villains go to hell? Yeah. Depends what hell you're talking about. Our hell, I guess the Catholic / Christian version of hell, or any other religious type of version of hell, or Dragon Ball Z hell. I definitely think they'd go to all of them. So yeah. If they hypothetically existed in the same universe, I guess. What would a Pitar Fusion between Gogeta and Trunks be called? And what would be its limit in terms of power? I mean, for all we know, it could still be called Gotenks, but if Trunks is the... Grunks? Or, Troten? Gotenks is a very perfect name, so... And if they did the Pitar Fusion, they could definitely take I think as a Super Saiyan 3, they would have beaten Super Buu even worse than they already were. Because they were fighting pretty evenly with Super Buu, but towards the end of that fight, they definitely had the upper hand, and I think it would have been a much easier fight if they had the Pitar Fusion. And obviously, they wouldn't have been defused, and yeah, Super Buu would have been annihilated, and then the series is over right there. If their afterlife was the same as it is in Dragon Ball Universe, filler included, do you think Robin Williams got to keep his body? Well, this would have been a very, very touchy subject 3 months ago, or I actually don't remember when Robin Williams passed on, but it was over 3 months ago, I know that. I don't know how to be completely honest, to put it bluntly, guys, I do not know how Dragon Ball treats suicide, so I can't possibly answer this. I mean, even if he went to hell, the filler version of the Afterlife is actually pretty cool looking. I mean, they give hiking trips and stuff, and tours. I mean, you're kind of forced to do it all, but you still get to do hiking and stuff like that, correctional stuff, so it's not really that bad, I guess. But I hope I didn't offend anyone by answering this question. But yeah. Favorite ice cream flavor? Chocolate. I mean, actually, where I work at my job, we have a limited edition type of ice cream that we make. And It's called Crazy Coconut, and it's chocolate coconut ice cream that also has, like, you know, coconut flakes and stuff and brownie bits. And that's probably one of my favorite ice creams of all time, but unfortunately it's limited edition. So if any of you guys live near a Stewart's shop, you know, if you are on the east coast of the US, you might live near a Stewart's shop. And if you guys have had any of that, feel free to please comment and let me know what you guys thought of that ice cream, because that ice cream is phenomenal. But yeah. What if Piccolo fused with Lord Slug? I mean, he'd be pretty strong, but I don't really know how to answer this. Who got you into Dragon Ball Z? Myself, but it was on Toonami. I remember Sailor Moon and Yu Yu Hakusho were kind of on the ends of it, I think, in terms of its you know, time slot, I suppose. But I got myself into it. I remember my brother was watching as well, and my dad even watched it with me a bit. General Blue versus Russell Brand. Well, I definitely think General Blue, I mean, God, I can't talk today, guys. General Blue versus Russell Brand. I definitely think that Russell Brand would lose. I mean, General Blue is pretty strong for your ordinary human, so. Granted, DBE, I guess they mean Dragon Ball Evolution, sucked. But if there were sequels, who would you like to see as the next villain? Nobody. But if there was, I'd love to see Cell. Cell is my favorite villain by far. He'd probably look pretty terrifying in live action, so let's just not talk about that movie anymore, guys. Have you noticed that Frieza's soldier's second skin on Tenkaichi 3 looks like General Akbar from Star Wars? Well, it's Admiral Akbar, and I don't remember what he looks like in Tenkaichi 3, so unfortunately I can't answer this. Granted, DBE, okay, this is the same question, just a repeat. Do you think the Easter Bunny is real in DBZ, and what is his power level? Yeah, he's definitely real, and his power level is around the same as Mr. Satan. And as we all know, Mr. Satan did defeat Majin Buu as well as Cell, and he is the ultimate overlord of the universe, so that would definitely be an epic battle. Piccolo and Battle of Gods versus Bojack full power. I'd say Piccolo, but Fukatsu no F kind of complicates things. I'm not going to go into detail due to spoilers, but if you guys know what I'm talking about, then you guys know exactly what I mean. But Battle of Gods, I would just give it to Piccolo, just for the benefit of the doubt. Can Krillin survive SSJ2 Goku for a minute? Like the other question with Mr. Gohan, if it's a fight to the death, they don't care who's friends with who, you know, it's just kill, kill, kill. Goku's gonna annihilate him instantly. Frieza versus Team 4-Star Frieza from Amy. Well, you gotta be specific. What Frieza? Are we talking about Linda Young here? Linda Young is my favorite Frieza. I know she sounds like, I know Frieza sounded like a chain-smoking grandma, but I loved it. And yes, I'm being a nostalgia tard here, guys. That is the best Frieza for me. Although I really didn't like Chris Aries when he first started playing Frieza in Kai, and as well as going to be doing in Fukatsu no F. I really do think Chris Aries does a phenomenal job as Frieza now. But Linda Young is always going to be the original for me, and that's just, you know, the way I feel. But I'm very happy with Chris Aries' performance. He sounds great. Team 4-Star's Frieza is very good as well. But I'm going to give it to Linda Young, Supreme Overlord of Friezas. King Kai versus South Kai. South Kai was the one in that filler scene that cut up Boo, right? I would definitely give it to the South Kai easily. It's not even a fight. As a matter of fact, all those Kais that were in that filler scene could beat King Kai in an instant, so, you know. But if I remember, South Kai was the one with the sword, so, yeah. Battle Royale with South Kai, North Kai, East Kai, West Kai. South Kai did seem to be the strongest, so I'm going to give it to South Kai. Grand Kai versus Perfect Cell, not super perfect. That's very, very difficult because his power is very ambiguous. I've had people say he's much stronger than Cell based on the fact that he can train Goku, but you don't have to be stronger than someone to teach someone new moves, so I'm just going to give this one to Perfect Cell. Just the benefit of the doubt. Gogeta SSJ4 versus Vegito SSJ God. I'm going to give that one to Gogeta. Actually, no, I'll give that one to Vegito. As I do think Super Saiyan 4 is stronger, guys, but I don't think it's that much stronger. Now, if you're talking about Battle of Gods, you know, Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan Gods versus a GT Super Saiyan 4, it's not even close. It's Super Saiyan 4. But if you're talking about Gogeta and Vegito, same timeline, let's just say, and different transformations, I'd still give it to Vegito just based on the Pitar Fusion. But if it's a Dragon Ball Z Vegito versus the GT Gogeta, it's not even close. Gogeta would take a hot steaming shit on him. Can Tien regenerate same way Piccolo can? No. Because when he came back to life, he has his arm. When Frieza came back, he was in pieces, and they used a machine to bring him back into one. Well, that's an inconsistency, and I think Frieza was like that. There was a reason Frieza was not able to be put back together. I cannot remember why in that manga chapter, but it was something about the way his body was scattered or something. Tien is a different story, and, you know, I guess you would have to say, why did Goku, you know, have his... I mean, it's not really about regeneration, guys, because Goku would have been annihilated completely when he was killed by Cell. He would have had a hole in him after that whole fight with Piccolo and Raditz, you know, Piccolo shooting a special beam cannon in him. So it's not really about regeneration, so... Yeah, I just got Dragon Ball Xenoverse today, and I'm on the Ginyu Saga. Well, I'm sure by now, David, this was 3 months ago, you've probably gotten well into completion of that game, so... You know, I'm happy. That's a great, great game, and I love it. I play it for fun. I don't just record videos for it, guys. I play it for fun as well. I've been playing it, you know, all night last night. I love playing it with my friends. I love doing little fights. And, of course, I love recording footage for it. Why y'all sleep on the Raging Blast games also... Why y'all sleeping on the Raging Blast games also? Burst Limit is the same or almost the same graphics as Xenoverse. Actually, Burst Limit and Xenoverse do not have the same graphics. Different engines that they use for that game. The graphics aren't even really the same style. So I do think technically, if you're talking about technicalities, they're pretty close in terms of overall presentation. I would put them very close. I'd give Xenoverse a slight edge because of the texture work on the character models, and the environments as well. But I don't know what you mean by sleeping on Raging Blast games. I mean, they're alright. They're fun. I'm not disappointed in my purchases of them, but, you know, I don't know. This girl gives me... Oh, we gotta get a relationship question in here. I gotta take a drink for this one, guys. Not alcohol. It's soda. Knockoff soda. I know it's very... it's very unprofessional of me to be drinking, and as well as belching in, a video, but if you guys saw Black and Fist's anime Q&A, that guy was eating almonds the whole time, man, and, you know, he might be watching this video, but, you know, I always trash on him about eating those almonds, you know. But, anyways, this girl gives me signs that she likes me, but she has a boyfriend. What should I do? She tries to sit near me and stares at me, etc. Stay away from her. She's no good. Stay away. A woman like that, if she's going to be giving you signs while she's already in a relationship, she's going to do the same to you to someone else, and that's not a faithful woman that you want in your life. So stay away from her. That's my suggestion. In the end, it's up to you, man, but I really do suggest you just stay away from her. Unfortunately, this was 3 months ago, so you've probably already made your decision, or hopefully you just stayed away like I suggested. Thoughts on this video? Well, actually, that's after this. Do you think Super Cell destroying the solar system will make a good video topic? I've always wanted to do a topic, but there is absolutely no way I can make it into a video. I've tried. I could just BS it for you guys, but I want to give you guys a good in-depth video, and I don't think there's any way to do that. So, I do think you can destroy a solar system based on first form Frieza destroying a planet 10 times denser than Earth. You know, it just seems like if you scale it up, it seems very possible. Now, I'm not saying that Kamehameha wave he used could destroy a solar system, but if he could explode his ki outward, I do think he has the potential to explode the entire solar system. I am just tripping on my words today, guys. God. Well, at my job, I've been talking all day, so I guess I've maybe overworked myself in terms of my voice today. My throat's a bit dry. That's why I've been drinking all this time, so yeah. Thoughts on this video? Well, I can't really watch it, but I can open it in a new tab and check. Oh, it says Dragon Ball Epsilon. I can already tell you I'm gonna hate it, so yeah. Well, guys, I actually had to cut this part. I had technical difficulties. With that Epsilon video, when I went to go open that new link, it kind of swayed my audio off, I guess, and I tried muting it and that didn't work, so I recorded another, 10-15 minutes of this stuff. But I'm gonna answer a couple questions that I answered in that Q&A section. Jeez, my throat's getting dry. I've been talking all day. Anyways, I answered the question of, there's some that I forgot, guys, but I apologize for that. Technical difficulties. Basically what I had answered was stuff like Mystic Gohan. Someone asked if Mystic Gohan was 2 times stronger than Goku. I basically said that, Gohan, based off of comparing Gotenks and Super Buu's strength and going off Super Saiyan multipliers, Gohan had to have been bare minimum 10 times stronger than Goku as a Super Saiyan 3. Bare minimum, he was actually more than that. Another question I had gotten to was one about Gohan after the Z Soul or the Z Sword. How strong was he? I definitely think that Gohan, after training with the Z Sword, that Gohan would have had to have been stronger than his teen counterpart, based on the fact that it was kind of implied that he had gotten an extreme power boost from training there. So I definitely think he'd be stronger than that. But yeah, other than that, guys, I mean, sorry about the technical difficulties here. I had to shorten the Q&A a little bit, but I had some audio issues, and I didn't want to upload that for you guys, obviously. And obviously, I don't even want to upload something like this where I have, a crappy little cut in the middle. It's not really what I wanted to do. But, just for all 6 purposes, guys, I'll answer a little bit more and then end it off because, it's not really fair for you guys to cut it short here. But, fun fact, if it was heard somewhere Naruto at his strongest is as strong as Captain Ginyu. Okay, well, this is already wrong. Can't remember where I heard it, but if that's true, then Naruto can beat anyone in the Saiyan Saga. He can beat a lot of people in the Frieza Saga. Do you think Naruto is that strong? From Abraham, not even close. No way in hell. Moving on. Omega Shenron versus Beerus. Omega Shenron. This kind of goes with my whole GT versus Battle of Gods characters. You guys know I don't really need to explain this. 16 versus 17 and 18. I definitely would say 16 will win. From Michael Frederick Scott Adams. Dabura versus Pycon. Probably... that's very hard. If you're talking about the anime version of Dabura, I would say Dabura. But the manga one, that's very difficult to say. I would probably give it to Pycon. Dabura was made to look much stronger in the anime because Dabura was said to have been holding back a lot of his power. So you gotta take that into consideration. Nail versus Raccoon. I would say Nail, to be honest, because of his regeneration. Hey, this is Sufjan, and I was wondering, are you going to look up the summary of the new Dragon Ball Z movie as soon as it comes out? Wait for it in the US. It's really tempting, and I don't think I can wait very long without knowing what happens. Also, do you also think Kwame will do the same thing? Well, yes, we've actually both done that. I mean, this was asked 3 months ago, but we know apparently everything in the movie. I've seen a large portion of the film as well, so yeah. Ascended Super Saiyan Vegeta versus Ultra Super Saiyan Future Trunks. I know Trunks is stronger, but Vegeta has the speed advantage, so I probably would give it to Vegeta, to be honest, guys. Even though there was a large gap in strength, there was also a large gap in strength between Perfect Cell and Trunks, but Trunks could still take damage from Cell, so I think Vegeta could probably still manage to defeat him. That's just my opinion. Gogeta versus Super Buu. Gohan absorbed. If it's Super Gogeta, I definitely think Gogeta would still win. But yeah. Sorry guys, I know I sound like I'm trying to speed through, but I'm actually starting to lose my voice. Let's see. 2 more questions I'll answer here, guys. I know it sounds like I'm trying to speed through. Just a little bit stressed out from that whole audio bug, but not really a big deal. Do you think Vegetto has the potential to beat most of the GT villains with the exception of Omega Shenron? Super Saiyan 3, it's possible. It's definitely possible for him to be up there with, Baby and such like that. I think he'd be able to beat most of the Shadow Dragons as a Super Saiyan 3. And this one, it's just a Facebook page for the Dragon Ball Raging Blast 3 project. It's okay. I mean, it's not really going to ever happen. So, not to crush your dreams. It's not something that's ever going to happen. It's already been turned down by Namco Bandai. But, yeah, other than that, guys, Thanks for watching this Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry about the technical difficulties and all that stuff, but other than that, thank you guys for watching this Q&A, and I'll catch you later.